Hi everyone, it's Ray here reporting for Women's Football Today. I've just watched the Champions League quarter-final second leg tie between Manchester City and Barcelona, and Manchester City have won by 2-1, but they're knocked out of the competition on aggregate by 4-1. Now, we knew before the game it was going to be really tough after last week's performance against Barcelona, where City lost by 3-0. It's going to be extremely difficult. If Barcelona scored 1 goal today, Manchester City would have needed 5 goals to win. Barcelona haven't let in more than two goals, I think, for over 2 whole years. And the last time any team has scored even 2 goals against them was 38 games ago. So it's a really tough uphill task for Manchester City to have a chance to qualify. But at least the least they wanted was to put on a good performance and to show that what happened last week was not the true Manchester City. Now, Manchester City started with their 3 American superstars, World Cup winners in Rose Lavelle, in Sam Mewis and Abby Dahlkemper. We found out just before the game that Lauren Hemp was out with an ear infection, added to the absences we already knew about yesterday when we found out that Demi Stokes would be out injured, and we already know for the last few weeks that Steph Horton has been out injured as well. So City up against it a little bit, but it would be really interesting, and it was interesting to see how our midfield would perform with Rose Lavelle, Sam Mewis there, and Kira Walsh, and it performed admirably. And we knew that Barcelona were a top class team. We saw that last week, and they still created chances today, but City came out stronger, more on the front foot, and they put on a much better display than they did last week. Lots of chances for either side. Both sides had chances to score goals. After 20 minutes, Manchester City took the lead. It was a corner taken by Alex Greenwood, headed on by the brilliant Sam Mewis, and eventually Janine Becky poached in and tapped the ball home. 1-0. It gives City hope. They still needed a couple more goals at least while keeping it tight to the back to force extra time. But that first goal showed that City meant business, and they were on track to at least put on a good performance. But we know Barcelona are a fantastic side, and in Atihat Oshuola, they've got an outstanding talent, surely going all the way to the top in the game. She's unbelievable. She had a hatful of chances actually today, several chances, and on another day she might have scored a hat-trick, but once again Ellie Robert was in fantastic form, ably supported by the unbelievable Lucy Bronze. Now, Lucy Bronze recently was voted the best player in the world in one ranking, and she showed that. She showed that with 2 unbelievable defensive stops to deny Oshuola from a goal. It was unbelievable. The one where she dived, and I think the ball hit her in the midriff or the torso to block what was a certain goal. Unbelievable. Another one, I think she was standing in the goal when she cleared it off the line. Just an unbelievable, I can't even say it now, it was that good. An unbelievable defensive performance from Lucy Bronze to keep City in the game. At half-time, the score was 1-0 to City, which I think City would be quite pleased they went into half-time at that moment. It allowed the fans, it allowed everybody to breathe, and I think Barcelona had been building up a head of steam, had been building up a lot of pressure before half-time, so City would have been glad to go in 1-0 up. Ellie Robert was making some fantastic saves to deny Oshuola. I think it was a couple of times early in the second half she did that, but eventually the Barcelona pressure did tell, and they scored after 58 minutes. I think it was a defensive mistake. Oshuola eventually scored after a poor clearance which hit one of the Barcelona attackers. They got into the box. I think it was a foul by Greenwood, which probably would have been a penalty, but the referee played on. The ball was pulled back to Oshuola, and she stroked it home. 1-1, pretty much put City out of the tie. It was 1-1 on the day, 4-1 on aggregate. City would have needed to score 4 goals to get through, and they only had 30 minutes in which to do that. So it was very unlikely that City would get through. I think the heads went down for a few minutes. It's only natural, because I think at that point they realised it's unlikely, extremely difficult for them to get through, and a few players, you could tell they could feel that, you could see it in them. But then City did respond and started taking the game again to Barcelona, and you could see City was still creating chances. After 66 minutes, City won a penalty, a nice bit of interplay around the edge of the box. Ellen White inside the box, about to shoot. It looked like she was just tapped attacked from behind, penalty. Now, we were debating whether there would be a red card because we were asking ourselves, did the last defender actually play the ball? Did she make a serious attempt to play the ball? We were debating whether it would be a red or a yellow card. I don't even think she got a yellow card. So some dubious refereeing there. And look, who knows what would have happened? 66 minutes, City have a penalty, which they scored. 2-1. If Barcelona had been down to 10 minutes, still, remember, extremely difficult. But City would have had about half an hour to score another 3 goals with Barcelona down to 10 men. You never know what's going to happen in football. If City scored another one, only 2 goals required, and the pressures on Barcelona if they were down to 10 men didn't happen. It didn't happen, and Barcelona carried on creating chances. City carried on creating chances. We had a flurry of substitutions towards the end. Once City were pretty much convinced they weren't going to get through, they did take some of the big players off and brought some of the youngsters on. Jess Bart came on right at the end. Georgia Stanwyck came on as well, and the game ended up City winning 2-1. Now, after last week's performance, it was encouraging, and for the fans, and I'm looking on social media, the fans are extremely proud of that performance from City. It shows, as I said earlier, the truer value of what they can actually achieve. It's, people are asking me, why did City lose the tie? Sadly, if you pick on just a couple of moments in the last game, in the first leg, it was that miss by the penalty miss. If City had scored it, they'd been 2-1 to Barcelona, and this 2-1 score would have, if that game had stayed 2-1, City win 2-1, it goes into extra time. And as much as that, it was that last goal, that third goal towards the end of the game against Barcelona in the first leg, that pretty much made it extremely difficult for City to get through. If anything had changed, if City had scored that penalty, and even if they'd lost 3-1, they'd have still had a chance to get through, or at least get to extra time or something, and put a lot more pressure on Barcelona. Without that pressure, Barcelona, it was much easier for them to hold the fort and get through the tie. But as I said, City fans on social media right now, very pleased with the performance of their team. It shows that City can actually compete at this level, but it's necessary to compete at this level over 2 legs, not just one. City roll on. Good luck to Barcelona in the next round, and a lot of City fans say that I hope they go on and win it. City roll on to a game at the weekend in the Women's Super League, a game they need to win to keep the pressure on Chelsea away at Tottenham, so City to keep on going. And I think they'll have to pick themselves up, dust themselves down, get ready again. The game's on Sunday, so they haven't got a big turnaround. And then at some point have a chance to reflect on the Champions League tournament and this tie against Barcelona. Look at what went wrong, look at what needs to be fixed, so that next year in the Champions League they can put on a better show and maybe go deeper into the competition.